Alright, so I was in the middle of making this video when the Kingdom Hearts 4 development trailer came out, so I'm going to talk about that real quick and then we're going to jump back into the video, because it all is still kind of related to Keyblades. Hello everybody, I'm OCDsaster, and holy crap, if you have not seen the Kingdom Hearts 4 development trailer yet, you need to see it, because it is unlike anything we have ever seen in the Kingdom Hearts games, and it looks like your Keyblade, it hasn't transformed yet, but you can actually use the keychain to link it like a grappling hook and spin around and stuff. It looks so absolutely crazy. I really hope it's one of those things where it actually stays in the game and this isn't just like a flashy cinematic thing and then they're just going to take it all out and redo it. But yeah, more on that at a later time. Let's get back into the video that I had made.
Let's go!
Keyblades have gone through quite the transformation throughout the Kingdom Hearts series. Get it? Transformation. Hello everybody, I'm OCDsaster, and if you want to see my designs for some Keyblades for Kingdom Hearts 4, such as the Moana Keyblade or the Inside Out Keyblade, make sure you stay tuned to the very end of this video. I apologize if I sound kinda off. It's allergy season here in the United States, and I'm a little bit stuffy. It's been raining on and off for the past like 9 days, so please forgive me if that's a little bit bothersome. If I were a betting man, which I am not, I would say most of you that clicked on this video already know what Kingdom Hearts is and understand Keyblades pretty well. If not, basically Keyblades are the basic weapon that you use as the protagonist throughout the Kingdom Hearts franchise. It's a sword shaped like a key. There's many lore, backstory stuff that goes into it as well, but I'm not really focusing on that for this video. I might do it for a later video if I feel like it, but for the sense and purposes, Keyblades are the main weapon in the Kingdom Hearts series. They're used as swords, but the design is that of a key. You can unlock different types of Keyblades by completing worlds, defeating bosses, or completing special challenges. These Keyblades can change their look. Basically, it's the keychain that changes the look of the Keyblade. Per lore, the Keyblade literally just looks like the Kingdom Key, and then you switch out the keychain, changes the Keyblade's entire essence or look, and the design is based off of, like I said, which worlds you've cleared previously. Alright, so there's your crash course on Keyblades. In this video, we are going to be talking about the changes in the Keyblade mechanics throughout the Kingdom Hearts games, along with, like I said, if you stay to the end, the designs that I have for some Kingdom Hearts 4 Keyblades that I think are pretty cool. We're going to be going in order of game release to make this a lot easier for myself and for you. So, let's start with Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 1 obviously is the start of the Keyblades and the mechanics that are the Keyblades. Now, Kingdom Hearts 1, I believe, has one of the most basic setups for the Keyblades. As mentioned earlier, you change the keychain, the Keyblade will change the way it looks. Now, in Kingdom Hearts 1, the reach is actually something that they pay close attention to. When you go over the Keyblades, in the description, it'll tell you some special little abilities that it has. For example, Fairy Harp deals critical damage but has short reach. This is something that they keep throughout the rest of the Kingdom Hearts games, but they make it a little bit easier for the user to see, and you don't have to read just that paragraph to figure out what the Keyblade does. On top of that, there are stats, there's strength, and there is MP. Basically, that's your magic, and that will change depending on which Keyblade you use. For the most part, I think the Keyblades in Kingdom Hearts 1 are pretty balanced throughout the game as you're unlocking more and more. They don't tend to get worse in stats, or one's obviously better than the other. However, Final Mix does kind of ruin this balance in my opinion, and boosts some stats and nerfs some other Keyblades. For example, Divine Rose is an absolute beast in Kingdom Hearts 1. It does a lot more damage than I think even Oblivion, if I'm not mistaken. So there's some things like that that bug me just a tiny bit, but overall, great start to the Keyblade introduction. Next out of the Kingdom Hearts games is Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, and this game, there's not really much to talk about when it comes to Keyblades. You do have the Keyblade pictures and the different Keyblade variants on the cards, but they switched up the battle mechanics so much for Chain of Memories that there's really no use to talk about anything here. You use the cards to fight, so let's skip on over to Kingdom Hearts 2. I have a love-hate relationship when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 2 and its Keyblades. First off, you get a way more Keyblades than you do in Kingdom Hearts 1, which I think is a plus. Another plus is they really made it easier for you to see what kind of stats and abilities the Keyblade has by making the menus look a lot more crisp and clear when selecting Keyblades. On top of that, you can equip more than one Keyblade once you start unlocking the forms, such as Valor, Master, and Final Form. The big con to Kingdom Hearts 2's Keyblades is that they are not balanced in the slightest, and you can especially tell this when you watch speedrunners play the game. Basically, you get Keyblades later in the game that are weaker than Keyblades you already have, which I think just doesn't make any sense at all because there's no incentive to really use that Keyblade in the first place. The first Keyblade I can think of is Hidden Dragon. Most likely the first world that you go to in Kingdom Hearts 2 is the Land of Dragons, which is Milan's world. After completing that world, you get the Hidden Dragon Keyblade. The Hidden Dragon Keyblade is the worst Keyblade in the game. I'm pretty sure Kingdom Key is stronger than Hidden Dragon. The only benefit Hidden Dragon has is a small little fire boost to your character, but it really doesn't matter this early in the game. Then, the next world you go to is Beast Castle, where you get no Keyblades for the first visit, and then you go to Olympus, where you get the Keyblade Hero's Crest, which has really good damage output. And when you watch people speedrun the game, they're using Hero's Crest all the way up until they unlock, like, Decisive Pumpkin, which is at the end of the second visit to Halloween Town. And I'm not even kidding about that. I'm sure there might be one or two Keyblades in there, but yeah, it's bad when you're unlocking like 10 Keyblades and you're still using the same Keyblade you got 3, 4, 5, 6 worlds ago. To me, it doesn't make any sense. Sure, the new Keyblades you pick up have cool little attributes and abilities, but none of them really benefit the gameplay too much for you to switch. Before we move on to 358 over 2 days, I just want to say thank you to all of you who are still watching this video. You are part of an elite tier. You are an elite member of the OCDsaster channel, and I want to take this time to thank you specifically for supporting my content. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. It's absolutely free, and eventually I will try to make it so that way being an elite member will give you some perks along the way. And you can also comment down below that you're an elite member, and then everyone will be like, what are they talking about? And they'll only know if they've watched the video. So thank you so much. Be sure to like the video, and let's keep going. I'm going to be honest, I haven't played 358 over 2 days in a long time. All I can say is they switched up the mechanics and the Keyblades a lot in this game. Basically, they're called gear now. Yes, you use a panel system, which kind of looks like Tetris blocks, and you can only fit in abilities and gears, is what they're calling it, to the slots if you have enough room. And doing so will change the way your Keyblade looks, its abilities. There's different attack types of Keyblades, magic type of Keyblades, and so forth. It's nothing super crazy in that sense, but it is cool that you're a little bit more into building your Keyblades. Speaking of building Keyblades, I didn't mention this earlier, but there is the Ultima weapon in almost every single Kingdom Hearts game, which is a unique way of unlocking the ultimate weapon, and that would be you collect things, you beat certain bosses, and get Ansem reports, and you synthesize items. It's very extensive, and there's tons of guides all over YouTube if you want to figure out how to do that if you haven't already. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there while we were talking about basically building your own Keyblade, which I think all the things 358 2 days did wrong, this is a pretty cool mechanic that they utilized the touchpad for the DS very well. Birth by Sleep and Recom, to my understanding, they don't really do anything when it comes to Keyblades. I haven't played Recom, so you're gonna have to forgive me on that one. But I know Birth by Sleep, the Keyblades are pretty basic and standard. You change them and it changes their attack and magic output, and that's about it. This is when, for the spin-off games, they start focusing more on the battle mechanics than they do the Keyblade mechanics, so they start experimenting more on that kind of stuff. A great example would be Dream Drop Distance, where your Keyblades are still there, you still have strength boosts, magic boosts, but at the same time you have flow motion, which I think they were trying to utilize more in that game than the Keyblades themselves. Don't forget, at the end of this video, I will be going over my personal designs for Keyblades in Kingdom Hearts 4 for Coco, Moana, Inside Out, and Zootopia. I think these designs are really cool. Will they get into the game? Definitely not, but I think I was very creative with them. Okay, so we made it to Kingdom Hearts 3, which switches up the Keyblade mechanics tenfold. I mean, digging into this and researching it more, I realized there's more to these Keyblades than any other Kingdom Hearts game, which makes sense because it's Kingdom Hearts 3, but they really went all out for this one. First off, let's just talk about Keyblade transformations. Keyblade transformations is when your Keyblade turns into a different form. Yes, sometimes they turn into guns, spears, what have you. Normally there's 1, 2, even up to 3 tiers of form changes, and this replaces the forms in KH2, such as Valor, Wisdom, Master, and Final. Now, to be completely honest, I hated this at first, but once I started looking into this a little bit more, it's way cooler than Valor, Wisdom, and all those other forms. You might not be able to dual wield Keyblades, well, unless you have the Remind DLC, but it's still really awesome. So how do you get these transformations? Well, they never really explain the hidden mechanics behind it, but as you're fighting as Sora, you'll get these chevron arrows, I believe is what they're called, and it'll be 1, 2, 3, and then you'll get a prompt to use the triangle or Y button if you're using an Xbox controller, and they're called situation commands, and that'll allow you to change into that form. Once you're in that form, a lot of things change. For example, your dodge animation will change, the way you'll attack will change, and you'll have new abilities with the form, just like you would in Kingdom Hearts 2, but this time it's based off of the Keyblade you equipped. Now going back, BBS introduced shot locks, and that was based on the shot locks you equip for your character. They changed it to be per Keyblade, meaning if you change the Keyblade, your shot lock will change as well. There's a shot lock for max shot lock, and then if you don't max out your targeting, there's a secondary type of shot lock feature. You get the Keyblades the same way you do in all the other Kingdom Hearts games after defeating a world or doing special challenges, collecting a bunch of things. However, these Keyblade designs, they really go all out. There's not as many Keyblades that you can get as in Kingdom Hearts 2 or even Kingdom Hearts 1 to my knowledge, but they really made sure the designs and looks of these Keyblades were really cool. And like I said, as you're changing forms, they're changing the way the Keyblade actually is. Its entire existence is turning into new weapons, which really livens up the gameplay and the mechanics by a whole lot. You don't even have to worry about balancing with these Keyblades, because in this game you can go up to the Moogle shop and go to the Keyblade Forge and actually upgrade your Keyblade. Yes, upgrading your Keyblade is a possibility, so if you want a lower level Keyblade that you got early game to be as good as the newer Keyblades, all you have to do is upgrade that bad boy and you are good to go. It also allows you to choose which forms that you want to play with throughout the entire game. Whereas in Kingdom Hearts 2, you had the basic form of Valor form, Wisdom form, Master form, Final form. Once you got Final form, you kind of just wanted to play as Final form. It was the best one out of all of them. You unlock the better ones as you go. Debatably, Valor form is still a little bit better than Wisdom form. But besides the point, with these Keyblade form changes, you can do whatever you want, however you want it. And it's just something that was really nice. You were never limited to one Keyblade either. You could have up to 3 Keyblades at a time and do something called Keyblade storage. Essentially, you use the D-pad to switch between different Keyblades that you have equipped. If you are building up a type of form for one Keyblade, you can switch over to another and store it for that previous Keyblade so it doesn't run out. My biggest gripe with this game is that you do run out of that form very quickly if you're not constantly attacking enemies. Your meter will go down and your Keyblade will immediately revert back to its original state. It's pretty easy to get it back up there, but if it's a small mob battle, it's not going to happen. A quick tip is with the situation commands, you're normally going to get a lot building up while you're still using the form. This can lead to accidentally triggering the final or the finisher for that form too early. I suggest using the L2 or R2 triggers to rotate through the situation decks, so that way you can move it over and not have to worry about accidentally finishing your attack when you don't want to. Like Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 3 has a menu that really breaks down what each Keyblade does and how you can utilize it. You can press triangle or Y depending on what you're playing on when you're over top the Keyblade, and you can see a whole list of abilities that you get when you're in that form of that Keyblade. So I think it's just a really cool thing that they added, and it really helps you visualize, okay, if I'm choosing this Keyblade and I'm turning into this mode, this is my bang for my buck. Kind of going back a little bit, there's 3 types of form changes. There's the attack form, the defense form, and the magic form. You can tell this by the color of Sora, or the clothes that he's wearing. If it turns red, that means your form is an attack-based form, and it's very powerful. If it's yellow, which I believe is only the counter shield, I don't think there's any other defensive weapons in the game. It's more of a defensive style of fighting. And then blue is the magic style. So yeah, that's pretty much a quick rundown of all the Keyblade mechanics in the Kingdom Hearts games. What did you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know which game had your favorite Keyblade mechanics and what your favorite Keyblade design is. If you asked me before making this video, I would definitely say Kingdom Hearts 2 was my favorite of the Keyblade designs and Keyblade mechanics, but now that I've really researched this and gone back and played more of Kingdom Hearts 3, I think Kingdom Hearts 3 has the best Keyblade mechanics. And I honestly hope that they keep this type of mechanic in for the rest of the Kingdom Hearts games, at least the main titles. I don't think there's much more they can do from here. We love the form drives in Kingdom Hearts 2, and they took that to another level in Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't know how they can top it without completely getting rid of Keyblades, which I really don't want to happen. So yeah, that's the video. I'm going to jump into my designs real quick. Just some little things, just based out of all the games and Keyblades in general. I did find it kind of weird that in Kingdom Hearts 3, you only unlock the Keyblades after beating the world. That's nothing new, but I was really hoping you could get the Keyblade as you entered the world. Sora, Donald, and Goofy change their attire and their outfits all the time when they enter a world. I don't know why the Keyblade can't change shape as well, but that's just a little nitpick. What do you guys think? Let me know. Alright, so here are my Keyblade designs for Kingdom Hearts 4. They are very rough drafted, but I decided to show them because, I think that the designs are pretty cool. I'm going to go from left to right. We have the Zootopia Keyblade, the Coco Keyblade, the Inside Out Keyblade, and the Moana Keyblade. Starting off with the Zootopia Keyblade, I am calling this Keyblade Officer's Duty, and we're going to work up to the top of the Keyblade. So we're going to start with the keychain, which is the carrot pen that Officer Hops uses to record the fox all the time. Is his name Nate? I can't remember. I think that's the actor's name is Nate. I honestly can't remember the fox's name at this time. I apologize. So then we have the hilt of the Keyblade, which would be the fox head. Thought that would be a very cool and interesting design. Then we move up and we have the igloos from the Tundra world. Then we move up to the pyramids. Basically the main part of the Keyblade is just all the different zones or areas in Zootopia. Skyscrapers up to trees. And then we have a bunny tail and the officer badge with the bunny ears at the very top. I have not thought of any type of form changes or anything with these Keyblades, so we're just going with these basic simple designs for now. Moving on to the Coco Keyblade, I call this the Song of Hearts. Starting at the bottom, we have Hector's hat as the keychain. Hector is such a pivotal part of Coco's story. The entire guitar would be Ernesto's guitar from the movie, with a music trail wrapping around the neck up to the top. And then you have a beautiful multicolored spirit animal wing from the movie just right there as the attack part of the Keyblade. I think this would be a very simple but very beautiful Keyblade design. Next we have the Inside Out Keyblade. At the very bottom is a rainbow for imagination. I just think it would be very cute. The chains itself would be the emotion orbs. So in the movie you have different color orbs to describe the emotions. Blue, sadness, yellow, joy, red. Like the actual orbs would connect the keychain all the way up to the hilt. And they would be all around the hilt as well. I think that would be a very cool feature. The main part of the Keyblade would be the islands. So there's islands of personalities in Inside Out. So we would start with the Family Island, move up the Creativity, then Goofy Island. At the very top would be the two hockey sticks. So those things are the end of a hockey stick because Riley in the movie really loves hockey, and this would be called Slapshot. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty good for a design. Finally, we have my favorite design, and that's the Moana Keyblade called the Sea Guardian. Starting at the bottom, we have the necklace of Moana going up to the crab claw, and then you have water kind of just like flowing off the sides, some fire in between. You have a volcano that goes straight up into Moana's paddle. On the left side, you have a sail from the raft that they use, and to the right, a giant Maui's hook. I don't know, I just think when I was drawing this design, I was absolutely cracked. It looks absolutely beautiful. I would love to see this in the game. Like I said, I don't think any of these designs are going to actually be in the game, but this is kind of like my interpretation if Zootopia, Coco, Inside Out, and Moana were indeed in Kingdom Hearts 4. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'm going to put the link right now in the video. It's pretty good. You guys have been supporting me so much with that video. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I forgot about Pirates of the Caribbean. That's my bad. This video has gone on for a little bit too long, so I'm going to dip out. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and continue letting your hearts be your guiding key. Alright, later.